All right, fellas, look, let's admit it. We all do a little bit of comparing. You know, is his bigger than mine? Is mine bigger than his? I think you all know what I'm talking about. And you see, me, I'm a very confident guy. And to prove it to you, I'm going to show you guys. Give me a second. You see, my bottle of Angostura is definitely bigger than your bottle of Angostura.
Ladies and gentlemen, due to operating difficulties, there's been...
All right, so if you're watching this channel, it's a very strong possibility, probably a guarantee, that you have heard of Angostura aromatic bitters. I mean, these are the standard bitters, the bitters of all bitters. You know what I'm saying? And so what they did to celebrate the 190th anniversary of the brand is they created an Amaro style liqueur called Amaro di Angostura. Now, if I can describe the difference between the two of them, I would say this. Let's keep it Italian themed, okay? You know, the Amaro, the aromatic bitters is kind of like drinking an espresso, right? It's strong, it's potent, and you only need a little bit to get the effect. You know what I'm saying? And then the Amaro di Angostura is kind of like drinking a really good cup of coffee, right? You still get the flavor of the espresso, you still get those flavors, except it's you know, its strength is it's what's it called? It's lengthened out a little bit, right? It's not as potent, not as strong, a little easier to consume, and you could drink a lot more of it, you know? So that's the real difference between the bitters and the Amaro. And so that said, you know, there's some still, you know, flavor-wise, some nuanced differences and stuff. You know, the Amaro is sweetened. It's obviously, because the flavors aren't as concentrated, you can even pick up a little more of some of the individual flavors. And you use more of it, so you pick it up more in a cocktail. You know, as opposed to the aromatic bitters, which you use a couple of dashes just to kind of accent, kind of like the salt and pepper. You know what I'm saying? That said, there is a very popular cocktail called the Trinidad Sour, which uses 1.5 ounces of the aromatic bitters. Very unusual, but very delicious cocktail. So what I'm gonna do for you guys today is I'm gonna make 2 cocktails using the Amaro de Angostura, and one of them is gonna be my own little riff on the Trinidad Sour. I'm gonna swap out the aromatic bitters for the Amaro de Angostura, adjust the specs a little bit, and it makes for a really delicious velvety style sour. And then I'm gonna make another cocktail called Black Princess, and this was created by Nick Frank, and I found this cocktail over on my favorite cocktail blog, the Cocktail Virgin, and this one gets me excited because it uses a little bit of Smith & Cross. Now, I've not had this one before, so I'm really looking forward to trying it out, all right, folks? So I'm gonna go ahead and make that for you, but before I do, I'm gonna need you guys to go ahead and hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and that notification bell so you can help Vino feed the hungry algorithm, and make sure you stick around, because we're about to boogie down. All right, so look, before we get started, let us look at what is in the sauce for my Amaro style Trinidad Sour, which I like to call Aspro de Trinidad, which basically means sour Trinidad, right? So I'm gonna swap out the 1.5 ounces of aromatic bitters for 1.5 ounces of the Amaro de Angostura, okay? Now, the aromatic bitters obviously are stronger, more potent. They got, you know, it's 44% ABV, but the Amaro de Angostura is 35% ABV. So it's not like it's a super sweet Amaro here, you know what I'm saying? But I am gonna compensate for the sweetness as we move along, all right? So for my rye, I'm gonna be using Rittenhouse rye. I'm gonna be using 1/2 ounce, which is sticking to the original formula, but I make sure I like to use a high proof rye if you can, all right? And then the original version of the Trinidad Sour calls for 1 ounce of orgeat. I'm gonna kick that back to 1/2 ounce, right? And it also calls for 1/2 ounce of lemon juice, and I'm gonna bump that up to 3/4 ounce, right? Just to, I like my cocktails dry, so you can adjust this as you please, all right? And just to pay homage still to the original Trinidad Sour, I'm still gonna add a dash of the aromatic bitters, you know, just to pay an homage, all right, folks? Let's go ahead and make our Aspro de Trinidad. All right, so let's look at what's in the sauce for the Black Princess cocktail. Of course, we're going to be using our Amaro de Angostura, and then we're going to be using some Rye Whiskey. And once again, I'm going to go with Rittenhouse, and then we're going to be using some Jamaican rum, and we're going to need some Navy Strength rum. And there is nothing I love more than a good old bottle of Smith & Cross. It's my favorite rum by far, okay? And then we're going to use some sweet vermouth. I'm going to be using a Brevis sweet vermouth, which is made here locally in the Hudson Valley. So, you know, you can go ahead and use whatever sweet vermouth you have. Let's go ahead and make our Black Princess. All right, so there you have it, folks. Our two Amaro de Angostura cocktails. Let's go ahead and give these bad boys a sippy sip. Starting with my Trinidad sour riff called Aspro de Trinidad. Cheers. I mean, right in the nose, you're obviously going to get the notes of the orange peel that I sprayed over it, but you also get those Angostura notes really hitting you. Like, you know, the cinnamon is really strong and potent on this. Oh, that's delicious. Ah, that's so good. If you like the Trinidad Sour, but you thought maybe you could tone it down a bit, you like it even more, this is going to hit the spot, guys. This is so delicious. Oh, those delicious bacon notes on your palate, they really just linger there. The orgeat has a beautiful floral notes on it, obviously almond and stuff like that. Oh, this is really, really nice, guys. It's funny, you know, I workshopped this a couple of weeks ago and I forgot how much I liked it. Sometimes you try a cocktail the second time and you're like, oh, I like it even more than I thought. Really delicious. Fantastic cocktail, okay, guys? And so anyway, now let's go ahead and try our Black Princess cocktail. And this really gets me excited because, again, I haven't had it yet because it uses Smith & Cross, and I'm always down for Smith & Cross cocktail. Cheers. So right in the nose is Smith & Cross. I mean, it's hard not to get that on the nose when it's inside a cocktail. Oh yeah, that's nice. Yeah. I mean, look, you know, if you don't like stirred cocktails, I mean, what am I going to tell you? So this is really, really up my alley, this style of cocktail. The Smith & Cross, for only being an ounce, you know, it's potent, it's strong, you know, it's Navy Strength. So it's the first thing you get here. I would say the Amaro de Angostura gets lost a little bit, but not too much. It's still there, but it does get lost a little bit in here. The sweet vermouth is beautiful, though. I mean, it adds a nice depth to the cocktail, gives it some richness to the cocktail. A very, very nice sip. Oh, yeah. So on that one, the rye, the whiskey came through on that one. The rye, the spiciness of the rye really came through on that one. And actually, it pushed through a little more of those Angostura notes. Very nice. That's why you gotta try everything twice, guys. That first time around, you never know. So anyway, so look, two very different style of cocktails, but both great ways to use a bottle of Angostura, Amaro de Angostura. So if you've been curious about this, if you've seen it out there, go ahead and pick it up, especially if you like aromatic bitters already. And the one thing about this one, I tend to see it on the lower end price-wise of Amaros. So it's a really, you know, look, if you like Angostura bitters, just go for it. I mean, this, you know, I'm not counting the money you have, but if you can afford a bottle of this, I say go for it, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, especially again, if you're a fan of the Trinidad Sour, oh yeah, that's good. Anyway, folks, look, if you like this video, please press like, please subscribe, and please share with your family and friends. Remember, sharing is caring, and when life gives you lemons, make yourself a cocktail. Cheers.